Hello, and welcome to Freedom Keeper Senior Edition. Thanks for joining us today, myself, Irene, and my co host, Beverly. We have a special episode for you on the midterms. And before you tune us out, please stay and listen. We've got some very important things to talk about. 250 years ago, Americans fought for freedom for themselves and their posterity. Their courage established this country's Declaration of Independence, which we all know and love. So now, on our 250th anniversary, principles our founders sacrificed for are being questioned and distorted. A lot of influential leaders openly celebrate socialism. And initially, when Beverly and I were discussing putting this episode together, I thought, no, it's going to be boring because we're so inundated by the midterms all over the place. But then I thought, no, wait a minute. There are way too many socialists who are winning primaries. And this is a very serious threat to our country. So, yes, we have to talk about it. We have to make people understand why they can't be voting for these candidates, because socialism, folks, is not the answer. Elections of our Congress are necessary to ensure our freedom remains strong and our country remains a free America and not a socialist state.
Well, I'd like to welcome everybody also, along with Irene. Thank you for tuning in. And I think to myself, what are the midterms and how important are they? Well, folks, it's very important. It's very important because it has a direct impact on the direction of our country. At present, we have a Republican president by the name of Donald J. Trump, and the midterms will determine many things. A third of the votes are always up for grabs in any midterm, and whoever holds the House or the Senate controls the agenda. And the president's job approval has an impact on the midterms. And right now, according to The Economist and Fox News, he's sitting at between 38 and 43% approval rating. Historically, voters want to change in the midterms unless the president has a high approval rating. The higher the approval, the fewer the losses. Right now, we're engaged in an Iran war, which has caused distress among the voters, and the economy is definitely affected. Right now, he's also between signing a deal with Iran, and we're hoping and praying that it goes through and everything becomes peaceful in the Middle East. The president's ability to accomplish his agenda depends on his party controlling both houses. These midterms also include elections for governors or state legislature, mayors, judges, and local officials. And at present, Democratic Socialists, as Irene was saying, are running to take over the Republican seats.
Yes, I think it's a very serious threat to our country. So, a little bit of history. The president's party almost always loses their majority in midterm House elections. This has been the case in 20 of the past 22 midterm elections, going way back to 1938. There were two exceptions, and both of them reflected unusual circumstances. So the first happened right after September 11th, which affected the 2002 election for Bush. And the other one was in 1998 after the Republicans tried to impeach Clinton but failed. So the president's job approval has a very strong impact on the midterms.
That's very, very true. But I think what we need to do is to really stop and think about what Trump has really accomplished, Irene, don't you think?
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's border controlled. He restricted mass illegal immigration. He established Doge along with Elon Musk to weed out the enormous amount of waste and fraud in our government programs. He renegotiated drug pricing to lower cost of many drugs. He also phased out 8 artificial food dyes along with Robert Kennedy Jr. from approved federal nutrition, emphasizing Make America Healthy Again, which was sorely needed. Think about the
Mhm.
obesity with children today.
Yeah.
Tax cuts and job acts, senior tax relief. Folks, no tax on Social Security. He lowered individual income tax, no tax on tips or overtime, doubled the child tax credit. He also started bank accounts for all children born since 2025 with $1,000 in their accounts. And others are eligible till 18 to start a bank account. I'm also thinking of opening one for my grandson. He doubled the standard deduction. He also cleaned up cities like Washington, D.C. and New Orleans and others. He also started, which is very important, he put our vice president in charge, investigations of fraud where criminals in major cities were using your tax dollars to commit heinous acts of fraud. For example, hospice care, child care for special needs children. Remember Minnesota and all of the fraud that was going on there? But you can't forget about these things, ladies and gentlemen. You can't. He negotiated peace deals with Israel and Hamas and Iran. Right now, Iran is a little touch and go, but they will come to the table. They have no choice. He freed Venezuela from a vicious dictator, Maduro, and he blocked their oil to all of our enemies like China and Russia. He introduced tariffs to attract huge investments in our country. He reduced inflation from 9% under Biden to what it is now. It's 4.2%, but that's going to go down once this war is over, and so much more. So you may not like his personality or what he says sometimes or how he looks, but you have to hand it to him that he's working for you and for me and for all of us, the American people. And he's accomplished so many things that make your life better, safer, and more prosperous for your future.
Yeah, it's truly amazing. I mean, the man has only been in office for what, 18, 20 months? And the list of his accomplishments, and people tend to overlook that. He's really done an awful lot already.
Very true.
So I believe the next few years, he will continue to do good things for the country and for the American people.
Absolutely.
So who's on the ballot for 2026? Republicans are defending 22 seats. Democrats are only defending 13. The Democrats are going to need to gain 4 seats to take control of the Senate, as the Republicans now hold 53 to 45. So this is a challenge for the Democrats. Republicans would need to lose no more than 2 seats in the House of Representatives to maintain control. So there are 33 seats in the Senate, which are up for election. 11 senators are not running for re-election. 58 representatives of the House are not running. That's a lot.
Mhm.
And both parties, because of this, have serious challenges ahead. So I just wanted to mention briefly some of the notables who recently won primaries, and we can't help wondering why. In New Jersey, the Democrat Noami was elected for the primary for Congress. Now, he's associated with Hamas in his past and other terrorist organizations in several respects. So it's unbelievable, isn't it, that they voted for this guy? Maine, Democrat, Graham Plattner for Senate. You remember the Nazi tattoo person. I was shocked, literally shocked, that Mainers could choose someone like that. I thought they were the common sense people, but I guess not. I don't understand it. In Texas, you have Democrat Tallarico for Senate, the vegan. In Texas, he believes in 6 different genders, and he has a very progressive interpretation of the Bible. He's introducing Christianity into his campaign in a new way. Let's say that. California, Rahman for mayoral candidates. They ousted Spencer Pratt, while Republican Steve Hilton did win to go to the general election for governor. Not a very small feat in the state of California. That's huge. Overall, progressive Democrats are choosing the most bizarre candidates, don't know how else to describe it, and don't know what they hope to accomplish. And I can't believe folks vote for some of these lunatics, and some of them are truly lunatics, or those with nefarious histories. So we shall see. Who's not running in November? Well, there are 46 House members. They've announced that they will not run for re-election in November. 30 Democrats and 16 Republicans. 11 senators, 4 Democrats and 7 Republicans. They've announced they will not seek re-election. Some of these people are just retiring. So 34 Democrats need to be replaced, and 23 Republicans need to be replaced. That's a total of 57 seats, folks. That's a lot. So that's why the voting is so important.
Well, why do you think voting is so important in the midterms? I think you have to put it into simple terms so that everybody understands. It's important that the Republicans keep the House and the Senate because many of the policies the president wants are going to be blocked if the Democrats take the majority. He will spend the remainder of his term being investigated and being impeached. There'll be budget stalemates, stalled nominations. They'll spend more time on disgracing him than informing the American taxpayer what they, the Democrats, will do for them, which is nothing. The negative impact on the president can be very, very significant. And since this is Trump's last term, he will not leave a legacy of accomplishment, since the Democrats will hamper him from signing any of his policies. They will continuously smear his name and legacy. Very little will get done, ladies and gentlemen, to support you, the American people. The Democrats are pledging to undo everything the president has done. Think about that. They're going to strip the funding, the power of the purse. They'll defund all of his projects. They can undo mass deportations and building the border wall, defund oil and gas drilling initiatives. They can refuse to pass bills. They'll hold further tax cuts and deregulations. Goodbye, Social Security. No taxes, okay? Corporate and federal tax cuts will be dead on arrival. They'll tax us until they can't tax us anymore. They can shut down the government. They don't have an answer to how to help the American people. All they know is to demonize Trump. That's all.
Yeah. And folks, we're not making this up. They have told us they're going to do this. We've heard it over and over again. So none of this of what they're planning to do if they take a majority is a secret. And will the midterms affect the outcome of the next election? Yes, very dramatically. The problem with voters today is they seem to be very apathetic. They just don't care. They think their votes won't count. They're upset about the economy, cost of food, cost of gas, which has come down about a dollar the last 2 weeks, and they're upset with the president. So the signing of the peace deal with Iran will help the economy. Socialism has taken over the Democratic Party, folks, and will fail in the end. We have to stop the Dems now. So please vote red in November. And remember, you need to vote because midterms shape the national and local decisions that truly affect your daily life. Their outcomes determine who controls Congress and how laws and oversight are handled. There are state and local decisions on schools, healthcare, housing, transportation, and public safety. And you will recall, we told you we're now working closely with Turning Point USA American Families. A lot of this legislation and the candidates that you vote for supporting these legislations will affect the American family. So it's really important that you get out and vote. The direction and limits of the presidential agenda will be affected. Midterms often shift political power because voters want a continued say in decisions that shape their everyday lives. And midterms allow voters to signal approval or frustration with national direction. Also, we have a system of checks and balances, which Congress is very much involved with. Congress helps keep things balanced. Congress makes laws and controls how tax dollars are spent. Congress needs to approve how the president spends money. So he can't just go out and spend, billions of dollars on whatever he wants. Congress has to approve it. So Congress can challenge the president's ideas, propose alternative laws, or investigate how presidential power is used. And the Senate has to approve president's nominees for judges and top federal positions.
Well, folks, your vote is extremely important.
Mhm.
Every vote counts, so please get out there and vote. Vote for the candidates who support our Constitution and Declaration of Independence. Vote for those who love America, not for those people who want to change it or take it down, not the progressive left or socialists, Marxists, Islamists. Vote to keep our liberties strong. It's up to all of us. Thank you for being with us today. We hope you keep turning into our podcast. And don't forget, we're working with Turning Point USA, as Irene stated, American families to save American families and save our country. By voting in the midterms, you can help to save it. Please subscribe to our podcast and share with your friends and families. Until next time, thank you.
Thanks for listening, folks. Bye bye.